What's going on, my friends? Welcome back to the RAFscents channel here on YouTube, and I'm not gonna lie, I am probably more excited for this video than I've been for any video that I've made, and let me tell you why. A few weeks ago, I was at a big mall in Tampa, Florida called International Plaza. They've got a Neiman Marcus, they've got a Nordstrom, they sell some very high-end things. And I was in another department store called Dillard's, and for those of you guys that are outside the United States, Dillard's is a major department store here in my country, and they sell some really good things, including name brand and niche perfumes in some locations. Well, this place in Tampa, Florida is one of their flagship locations, and while I was in there, I started making conversation with a couple people that worked there, and word got around about who I was, and they ended up inviting me to do an event in their location this Saturday, which is February the 11th. And it's not just any event. They are doing an event for Parfums de Marly, and they want me to go and help sell the fragrances, make some videos, do some live streams. I cannot contain my excitement. So today, we're gonna be reviewing only Parfums de Marly fragrances. I actually have 4 in my collection, but I'm also going to review 3 that I have smelled and don't have yet. They're ones that I want to buy. So I'm so excited. Let's go. So here's the thing about working at Dillard's this weekend, guys. I'm going to be trying to sell Parfums de Marly fragrances at full retail price. If you guys have paid any bit of attention to this channel, you'll know that I am a big advocate for purchasing from discount websites. That is not going to be the case here. I can't even mention it, but it's okay. It's a retail store, and that's what they need to be doing. So what I'm going to be doing for this video as well is, after I introduce the fragrances, I'm going to talk about whether or not I think this particular fragrance is worth full retail price. It's going to be interesting, so let's see what we got. The first fragrance on this list, it's my favorite and many people's favorite as well. It's the most well-known. It is Parfums de Marly Layton. Such an amazing scent. This is my first Parfums de Marly fragrance. It's got some top notes of apple, bergamot, and lavender. As you start drying off, you get some of the heart notes of jasmine, geranium, and some violet, but the base notes, that's where the magic really happens. It's got vanilla, some pepper, some gaiac wood, which is similar to oud, and patchouli. Put all of this together and you have a sweet, aromatic fragrance that is probably best in the fall and winter time, but here in Florida, where it's pretty much summer year-round, you find ways to wear fragrances like this any time of the year. So this one right here is absolutely stunning. I always say that if you're going to get a first niche fragrance and you don't mind dropping the coin, this one is a great fragrance to go with. Now, price-wise, I have seen this listed on discount websites anywhere from $135, which is what I paid for this 75 milliliter bottle, all the way up to full retail price, depending on where you shop, like I said. But it is a very strong, very potent fragrance with 2 sprays lasting you about 10 to 12 hours, and the projection is monstrous. Now, is this fragrance worth a full retail price? A 75 milliliter bottle is going to run you about $285 full retail, and a 125 milliliter, the really big one, is going to be right at about $350, $360. It is worth full retail, okay? The fragrance is unique. The fragrance is quality. The performance is there, and that's how I judge the value of all of my fragrances. How much does it cost versus how well does it perform? And it is absolutely spot on with this fragrance. So, Parfums de Marly Layton, this gets 55,000 thumbs up from Jesse. Next up, we have a fragrance that I do not own yet, but I have smelled it many times, and I can safely say that it will be in my collection at some point. And with Parfums de Marly being one of my favorite niche houses, probably all of their fragrances will be in my collection, but this one is one that I definitely have my eye on. It is Sedley. Now, Parfums de Marly fragrances, a lot of them are more oriented towards the fall and winter time with, their sweet notes, their spicy ambery notes. But this one is most definitely a summertime fragrance. You've got some top notes of spearmint, some bergamot, and some watery accords. After it's been on your skin for about 30 minutes and it starts to dry down, you're going to get some geranium, some lavender, and solar notes. Now, obviously, you're not going to take essence of sun or some bullcrap like that, but solar notes just is a vibrant, almost punchy note in there that's synthetic, but makes it pop when it's really, really hot outside. And then finally, you've got some amazing base notes of sandalwood, incense, some musk, and cedar. So this being a summertime fragrance, like I said, it's not going to do what you want it to do in the wintertime. But then again, like I said, I'm in Florida. I'll wear this one year round because it's always summer here. But the good thing about this one is the performance is absolutely there. I get about 8 to 10 hours on my skin anytime that I have sprayed this on. Now, the projection, it varies. I've gotten some people that have told me that this one just doesn't project off of my skin like I would want it to. Off of mine, I got about 2 or 3 feet of projection, but it kind of got, it lessened within about an hour or 2 hours. So do take that into consideration. This is one of their older fragrances, so it's going to be easy to find at discount rates. Would I pay this? Would I pay full retail price for this fragrance? Probably not, if I'm being honest. But here's why. As good as this fragrance smells, it shares a lot of the same DNA with other summer fragrances. It's, I want to say it's not unique because it is unique, but you get the same vibes from other fragrances and it doesn't stand out as much as I would like it to. What makes this one pop a little bit more is its niche quality performance. So that's what I would say. But if you do fall in love with this one, you see it at a store and you're like, man, I have to have this in my collection. I have to have this in my hand right now. Well, then knock yourselves out. I'm not going to fault you for that whatsoever. But I do think you could find it less expensive and be just fine with it. Next up, we have a fragrance for those of you guys that like something that is soapy, fresh, and amazing for the office or some other professional setting. This is Parfums de Marly Percival. Now, I actually blind bought this one from a friend of mine. He's an 18-year-old guy that ended up getting this, and it didn't really match his vibe. So he said he was selling it at a bit of a discounted rate, and I'm like, you know what? I'll take it because I'm wanting to get some more niche fragrances, and that was about 2 years ago. So whenever I ended up getting this, I smelled it. It took me a little bit to come around to it, I'm not going to lie. But as I trained my nose and as I started appreciating fragrances more, I ended up falling in love with this one. And to this day, it is one of my most compliment pulling fragrances. I would say top 5 compliment pulling fragrances, this one right here. So this is definitely going to be a citrusy and slightly floral fragrance. So some top notes of bergamot and mandarin. Then as you start drying down in the fragrance, you're going to get some violet, some geranium, and especially lavender. Okay, it's a very, very big lavender fragrance. And then in the bottom, you've got some musk, some woody notes, some nutmeg, and some pepper. I get the same type of vibes from this one that I do from something like Prada L'Homme, that lavender soapy based fragrance. It's very loud. Well, I say very loud. It's pretty loud, okay? You don't want to overspray this one, but it's not going to be terribly offensive if you happen to lay on 4 sprays of this one. It does last quite a while though, okay? So with these notes, this is once again going to be a daytime fragrance and good for warmer weather. Most appropriately in the spring, I would say. But with Percival, would I pay the full retail price for this one, which once again, this is one of their older releases, so you're going to be looking at about $275 for a 75 milliliter bottle and right around $350, $360 for 125 mils. I would say, once again, no. All right, I do like this fragrance. Don't get me wrong, I do like it, but this one, once again, it's a little, I want to say, too common. All right, you do have some similarities to some other fragrances out there, but this one's just a little bit older. Parfums de Marly has kind of evolved a little bit over the years with some of their later releases that I think are a little bit more unique and a little bit a little bit better in their scent profiles. You're not going to be disappointed with this one, but there are plenty of places that do have this in for sale at a discount. So take that into consideration, but in the end, it's still worth a purchase. Fragrance number 4 on the Parfums de Marly list is one that I once again do not have, but this one really, really hurts my soul. It is such a sexy fragrance, guys. A romantic scent that will definitely make your significant other want to snuggle with you to no end. This is Parfums de Marly Wojan. It is a warm, ambery fragrance. It's got some edible vibes to it, almost like a gourmand. And it smells a little bit like a darker version of Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Grand Soir. On the top notes, you've got some osmanthus, some cinnamon, and honey. As it starts drying down, you've got some heart notes of amber, some labdanum, and benzoin, and then finally coming in with base notes of vanilla, tonka bean, and patchouli. So when I sprayed this on, I actually went up there with a friend of mine, and we both smelled it, and we got weak at the knees when we first smelled this fragrance. And I have since made sure to spray it on my skin each and every time that I run across this fragrance. So here's another thing that happened on my skin. When I sprayed it on, it took about 45 minutes for the dry down to begin. I had honey, cinnamon, osmanthus, vanilla, tonka bean, patchouli on my skin for like 30 or 45 minutes before it started changing into the amber and benzoin, which, by the way, are freaking amazing notes in and of themselves. But it is absolutely stunning, my friends. It's got some of those vibes of Armani Stronger With You, or Mercedes-Benz Club Black, or even the Grand Soir from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. It's a fall and wintertime fragrance. It is definitely a date night fragrance. Do not wear this unless you want a lot of attention, and I mean like people looking at you in the most romantic of ways. Is this fragrance worth purchasing at $275 or $350 or $375? Yes. I absolutely advocate for purchasing this fragrance. If you see it in the store and you fall in love with it, I think it is 100% safe to buy and is going to be worth your money. So there you go, Parfums de Marly Wojan. Moving right along to fragrance number 5, we have a tobacco-based fragrance that plenty of people fall in love with. If you enjoy deep, rich tobacco fragrances, then I promise you this is going to be for you. It's Parfums de Marly Herod. What an awesome bottle. I really like this bottle. Really reflective. It's not the bright silver bottle like Pegasus, but it definitely has a little bit of luster. Look at that, man. But as I said, this is a very deep and rich tobacco fragrance with some cinnamon and pepper on top. The heart notes include tobacco leaf, incense, and some osmanthus. And then finally, you've got some base notes of vanilla pods, musk, some woody accords, and patchouli. To put it bluntly, this smells like you have a bag of pipe tobacco. You're opening it up and putting your nose right into it. It is straight up pipe tobacco, guys. But it is so beautiful. I absolutely adore this fragrance. Now, there is a little bit of a downside to this. It's not in the performance. It's more in the note breakdown, because there are a lot of fragrances that smell similar to this, okay? And that have a lot of these same notes. It's got some similarities to Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille. It's got some similarities to Viktor and Rolf's Spice Bomb Extreme. It's got some similarities to Mancera's Red Tobacco. So is this one going to be really unique? Ish. You know, the difference in these, in this fragrance than the other fragrances that I just mentioned is that I believe Parfums de Marly took this DNA and took these particular notes and used them much more efficiently and made them much more beautiful, okay? They had the same tools and they just elevated it and took it to the next level. So Parfums de Marly Herod, I think, is a great and one of the best tobacco scents out there. Tobacco, a little bit of sweet vanilla in there. You can't go wrong with it. Fall and wintertime fragrance, definitely for the night times. I would wear it in the occasion of just kind of a fancy night out. If I'm going to a fancy restaurant in the evening with my wife or some friends or something like that, this is going to be on my skin. It gets 8 hours of longevity. Would I purchase this at full retail price? I'm going to say yes and no, okay? Because like I said, if you're looking to have something that is completely unique, it's not going to be this one. There are so many fragrances that do share a bit of this DNA. But are you going to smell amazing? You absolutely will. So I say yes and I say no because it's going to be up to you. But in the end, if it were me, I probably would. Here we go with fragrance number 6, and this is the last of the fragrances on this list that I do not own, but I really want this one. It is a springtime fragrance. I absolutely love spring fragrances, and I need a few more in my collection. This is Parfums de Marly Greenly. Now, Greenly is a sweet, sort of fruity green fragrance that has some earthy tones to it, but it is a very vibrant and very fresh fragrance that you can wear in the springtime right as the seasons turn from the cold weather to the slightly warmer weather. You've got some top notes of some bergamot, mandarin, some green apple, and cashmere wood. Cashmere wood almost reminds me a little bit of suede. It's kind of bitter and dry, but it just has this certain elegance to it that I just really love. Some of the heart notes in here are cedar wood, some violet, and finally the base notes, you're going to have some oak moss, musk, and amberwood accords. When you put these all together, it is just it's just like a bouquet of the season of spring to me, and I think it is absolutely beautiful. Daytime fragrance, like I said, springtime and even summertime, man. I really like the vibe it gives you because I got a sample of it one time and I remember spraying it on as I was walking out the door on a Saturday morning in, I think it was like June. But I could smell like cut grass from all around me. I could smell, people working in their yards a little bit. You know that type of smell you get when you walk outside in the morning on a hot summer day. And I could smell my fragrance, and it's just like it blended perfectly with everything that was going on around me. And it was just, that was when I knew that I had to have that fragrance right there. When it just mixed with everything around it, I just loved it. So definitely take a look at this one. I absolutely believe that this one is going to be worth full retail price as well. This is, I believe, I'm not 100% positive on this because I suck at doing research before these videos, but I think this is one of the more recent releases in the last couple of years from Parfums de Marly, this Greenly. And it's a really pretty bottle, by the way. I really do enjoy that transparent green, that green tint it's got to it. But I am going to have Parfums de Marly Green. I don't know why I keep saying Parfums de Marly. I'm going to have Greenly, okay? I'm going to have Greenly. Last up on the Parfums de Marly list, this fragrance has quickly become one of my favorite fragrances in my entire collection. If you've seen any of my more recent videos, you'll know exactly which one I'm talking about. It is Haldane. Guys, oh my word, this one is absolutely intoxicating the way that it smells. It is an oud-based fragrance with some sweet facets, okay? When you spray it on, you're going to be hit with some opening notes of clary sage, lavender, and bergamot. But as it dries down, it just gets better and better and better because that's when the middle notes really open up. You've got saffron and praline, an epic combination that sits right on top of the oud and cedar in the base notes. And I'm telling you what, I don't see sweet notes like praline mixed with oud very often. More times than not, you see spicy oud fragrances, maybe some earthy oud fragrances. You'll even see some rosy oud fragrances, as is common in Middle Eastern fragrances. But this one right here, it is sweet and it absolutely works perfectly. I mean, I could not ask for anything better. Definitely a fall and wintertime fragrance. I think this is like a good gentleman's gourmand. It, the woody notes kind of make you not want to eat it, but then you get hit with that praline and you're like, I may just have to try it. So I definitely think it has some gourmand feels, and it is a very romantic scent. Fall and wintertime, it lasts for 8 to 10 hours on my skin. It does project very well. My wife absolutely loves this one. She adores it. As soon as she smelled it, she knew that this was going to be one of her favorites. And it's almost become a special occasion thing because I love taking her on dates. And I do wear this whenever I take her on dates. But the real question now, would I pay full retail price? Well, first off, I did. This one being one of the more recent releases. They do not make this in one of the 75 milliliter bottles. It is only available in 125 milliliter bottles, and after tax, this fragrance cost me about $420. Yes, okay, take it in. I know how expensive it was, but please know that I had been saving up for this fragrance for a while. I wanted to buy it immediately, so I was fully prepared to purchase it. Now, you can also find this not too discounted, but I've seen it for sale for $340 or $350, so it is definitely possible, okay? But Parfums de Marly Haltane, it is an absolute gem. Definitely get it. And there we have it, my friends. These are only some of the amazing fragrances that Parfums de Marly has to offer. We didn't even get into Carlisle, Pegasus Exclusive, Habdan, Go Dolphin, Leighton Exclusive. There are so many great fragrances out there, and you're starting to see why I love Parfums de Marly. One of my favorite niche brands, and I often talk with people on whether it's more important to smell unique or more important to smell good. You know, those don't always go hand in hand. But Parfums de Marly has done a perfect job of making those two things go hand in hand with each and every one of their fragrances, man. And from the very first spray, you can smell absolutely stellar quality. You can get a sense for how well it performs, and you can automatically tell that you are on to something special. So I am really excited for this Saturday, February the 11th. I'm going to be at International Plaza in Tampa, Florida at the Dillards. I'm going to be standing at a Parfums de Marly stand. I'm going to be making videos. I'm going to be talking to customers. I'm going to try to sell some fragrances. It's just going to be an overall amazing experience. So if you happen to be in the area this weekend, please come out. And if things go well, I may start making that a regular occurrence. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and hanging out with me. Be sure to like and subscribe. Check out some links in the description below. Find my other links, all of that good stuff you already know about. We will see you next. Who's we? I'll see you next time.